Hey everyone, and welcome to this benefit concert for Nourish Pierce County. I'm Nicholas Weber. What you just heard was Pachelbel's Toccata in E minor. You might know Johann Pachelbel from his very famous Canon in D. It goes like this. You've probably heard it at a lot of weddings. And so what you'll see it here is you'll hear this all over the place. And so if you'd like to hear a great stand-up comedian do a funny bit on that Pachelbel canon, go after the concert to YouTube and look up the Pachelbel Rant by Rob Paravonian. Great stuff. So Pachelbel is a Baroque composer who came a little bit before Bach, whose birthday we are celebrating today by the new calendar. People also celebrate on the 21st, so Bach gets kind of a birthday week, which is great. But anyway, next up we've got another Baroque composer for you. We've got Dieterich Buxtehude, who was well regarded. In fact, Bach wanted so much to hear him and learn from him that he walked 400 miles from southern Germany to northern Germany to hear him play and learn a bit from him. 400 miles may seem like a somewhat abstract number. Basically, imagine walking from Tacoma, Washington to Spokane, Washington on foot, and you'll have an idea of how far Bach walked to hear our next composer, Dieterich Buxtehude, whose Nun Bitten Weir I'll play for you next. that is Buxtehude's Nun bieten wir. So next up, I'd like to play for you one of Bach's chorale preludes from the Schübler Chorales, his Wachet auf. But before I play it for you, I want you to be able to hear the chorale melody, the melody of the hymn. And so to get it into your ears, I'd like to play for you the first verse of Nun bieten wir, or as we sing it in English, Sleeper's Wake. Now, this hymn was written by Phillip Nicolai. He was a German pastor who was born in the middle of the 1500s, and in 1596, if I remember my dates correctly, he was appointed to be the pastor of Unna, a town in western Germany. Now, in 1597, the plague swept through Unna, and it took a total of 1,300 people's lives. And in the worst week, 170 died. And so in the midst of this, he decided to write a book of poetry to encourage his parishioners. And I'd like to read you a bit from the preface of this work. He says, "Day by day I wrote out my meditations and found myself, thank God, wonderfully well, comforted in heart, joyful in spirit, and truly content, and gave to my manuscript the name and title of A Mere of Joy, to leave behind me, if God should call me from this world, as a token of my peaceful, joyful Christian departure, or, if God should spare me in health, to comfort other sufferers whom he should also visit with the pestilence." So here is Phillip Nicolai's Wachet auf, translated to Sleeper's Wake by Catherine Winkworth, was the translator.
Wake, awake, for night is flying. The watchmen on the heights are crying. Awake, Jerusalem, at last. Midnight hears the welcome voices, and at the thrilling cry rejoices. Come forth, ye virgins, night is past. The bridegroom comes, awake. Your lamps with gladness take. Alleluia. And for his marriage feast prepare, for ye must go to meet him there. So that's Wachet auf. And as I play the chorale prelude by Bach from the Schübler Chorales, you'll go ahead and actually be able to hear that hymn tune as I do all sorts of violence to the microphone. Sorry about that. All right. So you'll be able to hear it in the trumpet. So as we're going, you'll hear, sleepers wake, for night is flying. So listen for that trumpet, and you'll hear the tune. So here is Bach's setting of Wachet auf.
So that is Bach's Wachet auf from the Bach's Wachet auf from the Schübler chorales. Hope you enjoyed that. And today, as you know, this is a benefit concert for Nourish Pierce County. So we don't know at this point what the medical impact of the coronavirus will be, but we do know that the economic fallout is severe. In fact, the latest numbers, it was 3.2 million Americans filed for unemployment, and as you can imagine, with this going on, those that have the least are impacted the most. And Nourish Pierce County is the largest food bank network in Pierce County, Washington, which basically has 7 brick-and-mortar locations, if I'm remembering correctly, 7 or 9. For some reason, my numbers are escaping me right now. And 19 different mobile locations that bring food directly to those who need it most. And Nourish is the right charity to address this problem in Pierce County, this problem of the lack of food, this increased demand because of the coronavirus. So they are going ahead and helping out people at this time, and I would ask you to help them out by giving them a donation. So you know that your money will be well spent by Nourish. They've been around since the early 1970s and are highly rated by places like Impact Matters and Charity Navigator. In fact, Impact Matters has them as their #2 top nonprofit that is addressing hunger issues at this time. So please go ahead and give directly at Nourish's website and make that in honor of J.S. Bach. Why J.S. Bach? Well, it's his birthday today, again, by the new calendar, and that way also I'll know that you made this donation as a result of being here today, and I will match that donation. I'm matching all donations dollar for dollar, and I'll go ahead and put a link to where you can donate. I believe their website is nourishpc.org/donate, if I'm remembering correctly. Thank you, Jeremy, for popping that into the chat. I appreciate that. So go ahead and go there and make that donation in honor of JS Bach so I can match that. If you're on Facebook, you can also go to my earlier post from a couple days ago and donate through the donate button there. I'll also be matching those funds as well. Either way, I hope that you will give generously as we all seek to work together during this difficult time. So thanks for your generosity. So I told you about Phillip Nicolai, the pastor that wrote that hymn in the midst of that plague. And his story, fortunately, does not end in Una. In 1601, he was appointed to be the chief pastor of St. Catherine's in Hamburg, Germany. And about more than 20 years after that appointment, Heinrich Scheidemann would be appointed to serve as St. Catherine's chief organist. Now, Scheidemann is considered to be basically the forerunner of Buxtehude and Bach, kind of this middle Baroque figure. And you'll hear a bit of almost late Renaissance. It's a very different feel, but I want to play for you Scheidemann's Fantasia in D minor next. Scheidemann's Fantasia in D minor. Alrighty, so that was Scheidemann's Fantasia in D minor. I mentioned already that I'm matching your donations dollar for dollar today up to $500. I'm also donating $1 to Nourish for each person that views the stream today. So before we play our last piece, I play my last piece, go ahead and shout out to everybody else that you know who might enjoy this. Get them into the stream so we can get those view counts up. That's across all the different platforms that I'm streaming on. So we can get that viewer count. I don't want to keep any of that $250 for myself. Thanks again for coming today. Last up, we've got another piece by J.S. Bach. It's his Little Fugue in G minor. Now, usually with Bach fugues, they're paired with something else, a Fantasia, a Toccata, a Prelude. You probably best know Bach for his Toccata in D minor, Toccata and Fugue in D minor. It goes like... and so on. But today, the Little Fugue in G minor that I'll play for you, this is a unique, somewhat unique work. It's an unpaired fugue, so it just goes right into the fugue. Now, with a fugue, you'll go ahead and hear a theme repeated at various places. So the theme for the Little Fugue in G minor is... and so on. And you'll hear that repeated in different places. So you'll hear it in my right hand, my left hand. You'll even hear it on different tones in the pedal. So go ahead and listen for that theme as I play for you Bach's Little Fugue in G minor. And shout out to the whole Commit Action team that's come in. So cool place if you struggle with procrastination. Commit Action is a great program. The team is here on Facebook. Thanks so much, guys, for showing up. Good to have you. that was Bach's Little Fugue in G minor. Thank you again for coming today, and I encourage you to, if you haven't yet, to go over to nourishpc.org/donate to give Nourish Pierce County, Washington, some of your funds so that they can help those that are struggling at this time. And thanks again for coming. I'm going to play just a little bit of hymns and other fun stuff, and we can hang out for a bit. Thanks again for coming. I hope you enjoy the concert, and hope you stay well at this strange times that we're living in. All right, thanks again, everybody, for coming today. Really appreciate you showing up and supporting me and for supporting Nourish. Really appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream now, but I hope you had fun. And if you have any questions about any of the pieces I played today or about this organ, I could go on for hours about how I ripped it out. I ripped out all the analog stuff and put in Arduino and reprogrammed it and used MIDI and Hapwork and all this amazing stuff. But you've got a busy day ahead of you, and I really appreciate you spending some of it with me. Thanks again, everyone.